Hello. Today I am very excited to talk about what appears to be a very rugged looking action camera that we just purchased on Amazon. We're going to show you the camera, the accessories, we're going to turn on the camera and show you the settings and the menu, and then lastly in the next part of the video, the final part of the video, there will be some video samples if you would only like to see what the footage looks like, and you can decide for yourself if you think the footage looks good. So that's it really. Unboxing, showing you the camera, the settings and the accessories, and then followed by some sample video recordings. So if you'd rather not listen to me talk about the camera, just skip to the second part of this video. So what do we have here? We have an action camera, which again, just from knowing very little about this camera, it looks very rugged. We purchased it from Amazon, and we're just going to start with the unboxing part of this video. So what does it say here? Shows some nice pictures and sport, a recording camera. Let's see, motion detection. So it takes pictures, record and restore every wonderful moment. So what does it say here? Supposedly all the way up to 4K. There's a 2-inch screen. There's supposedly a flashlight, glass lens. That's good for helping the camera be kind of tough, durable, rugged, slow motion, the ability to take photos, loop recording, time-lapse, camera, records videos, supposedly waterproof without underwater housing, but I'm not going to test that just because with cameras like this, I prefer to have underwater housing, so if it doesn't include underwater housing, I'm personally not going to test it underwater. So that's really essentially it. Kind of similar on both sides of the box. Action camera. So let's just get started right away with this video. So that's the box. Inside the box we have a very cool looking case, I guess, for carrying your camera and your accessories. So let's see what is actually included here. So we got the camera, we have accessories, lots of accessories. So the camera itself, as I said, just from looking at the box, and it seems that we are correct, it appears to be very rugged. We're going to take this off when we start with recording, but this is just a little piece of plastic you can take off just to prevent any dust from getting on the lens. But this is the camera. Let's just take it off right now. Here's the camera. VIRAN, I'm not sure how to pronounce it, V-I-R-A-N. So I'll just say VIRAN. This is the camera. Without any underwater housing included. This must be the flashlight, power button, and the mode button, and settings. Looking here, we see that we have an area where we can add our micro SD memory card and insert the USB cable for charging our camera and transferring photos and videos from our camera to our computer. That's this area. We have up and down button. We're going to have to take this, kind of remove this a little bit so that we can actually add the memory card. Remember, most cameras will not include a micro SD memory card. You will need a memory card such as this one, which was purchased separately, so just keep that in mind. You will need a memory card to store your footage, your photos and videos on your camera. They're very small. Micro SD memory card, this is a separate purchase. This is not included here. So if you're buying this product, you will need to separately purchase a memory card in order to use the camera. Just keep that in mind. Micro SD memory card. Space for a tripod if you have one, and that's about it. I don't see a space for moving the battery. Again, oh, that was the same piece of plastic. This is your screen. You can see now, see me in the background. But we're going to turn on the camera, but first we're going to show you the accessories, and then we're going to show you the camera settings, and then finally the video samples will follow at the very end. Okay, so what kind of accessories do we have here? Some standard mounts and accessories, which I'm not really going to go through because they're really standard. I'll let you know what's kind of interesting and what's different. Cleaning cloth for your lens. I'm not sure if we'll need that because it already looks kind of dust-proof. That's always nice to have. Instruction manual. So this is it. If you want to just follow along very quickly while I just, if you want to pause. Other than that, it looks like we're going to talk about some settings. So supposedly waterproof without underwater housing. Again, I'm not going to test that. We have a flashlight, video resolution. We have 1080p, which is my favorite, 1080p 60 frames per second. We have support for a micro SD memory card up to 128 gigabytes. We have the ability to take photos. This is showing, I guess, the various buttons and ports, etc. Things like that. So that's our manual. And then we have a remote control, which I'm not really going to use. I don't really feel like I need one, but that's always nice to have. Very important, your micro USB cable for transferring photos from your camera to your photos and videos from your camera to your computer. So one end goes into the camera, which will be here. We're going to uncover that momentarily. The other end to your laptop, desktop computer, all-in-one computer, whatever has a USB port, so you can transfer the files. So now that we've looked at those items, the remaining standard mounts and accessories, nothing too exciting here. I'm just saying, if you've never had a camera before, an action camera, I mean, this might be kind of new and interesting, but for me, I've seen these so many times and I don't really use them. I don't use them, which is why I'm not talking about them, but they could be useful if you're going to mount it to a bicycle, a helmet, I don't know, a skateboard, yeah, maybe a bicycle, a scooter, something like that. So now onto the camera, which is really the main topic of conversation here, although we do have some nice accessories, kind of standard accessories. We're gonna, I'm just gonna say that I did charge the camera beforehand, so if your camera does not work when you press this button, and when you press and hold the power button, just keep in mind you will have to open this up, add your USB cable, connect it to the computer, and then charge it in charging mode. So that's why we have battery life here, because we actually charged it. Welcome to this camera. We're going to show you the menu, the settings, and then we're going to go right to the video samples, which will be coming up shortly. But for now, we're just going to look at the settings. So what do we have here on this camera? We have a default setting, a resolution setting of 2.7K 30 frames per second. This is not a touchscreen, at least I don't think it is. So we're going to see that we have mode here and then settings. So let's look at video settings by clicking this settings button. Okay, so video resolution all the way up to 4K at 60 frames per second. Wow. But I'm going to use my favorite setting, 1080p 60 frames per second. Recording sound. We're going to record sound. Time-lapse, loop recording off, off. Slow motion. I guess they have slow motion as well. Okay. Can probably get to that by going through the different modes over here. Wide angle, let's just do narrow for now, so that we don't have the distortion and fisheye effect. That's it. Now to the rest of the settings, we're going to click the settings button again. Image rotation, no thank you. Driving mode, turn that off. Okay. Screensaver, let's not do that because I don't want it to, the screen to turn off. I don't want it to time out. I don't want sleep mode. I want no auto shutdown either. I just want the camera to be on. Watermark, nope. Volume, yes, let's not have that the beeping sound either. Sorry, I'm just very particular with my settings here. There we go. Now last we have the language format. Let's format the memory card. Oh, we didn't insert the memory card yet. Ah, very funny. Yes, we'll do that soon. Okay. Now the different modes that we have. Photo mode. Let's go to photo mode. And then we go to settings. So we have photo resolution all the way up to 16 megapixels. Let's do that. Okay. So we have photo mode, video mode. Let's see what other modes we have. We have slow motion mode, playback mode. And then lastly we have return to our video mode. So those are really the settings you have. Just remember, it gets to the settings button by clicking there, and those are our video resolution settings. I selected 1080p, it goes all the way up to 4K. Supposedly, I like 1080p 60 frames per second, that's my favorite. And then we are basically done. So those are our settings. We're going to go outside and make some video tests with 1080p 60 frames per second resolution. We're going to show you the results, but first, before we do that, we're going to just turn off the camera and we're going to insert our micro SD memory card. So as I said, So here are the accessories. We kind of gone over everything. There's the manual, there's a remote control, USB cable, you definitely need that. No underwater housing because this is supposedly waterproof without underwater housing, but I'm not really going to test that. So the most important part, you really do need this in order to use your camera. What are we talking about? We're talking about the micro SD memory card. So with a thin object, you're going to have to kind of pull this apart because, again, it's supposedly waterproof, so it's no easy task to really take this apart. So I'm really sorry, like, this is the only way I can think of doing this. Okay, that kind of like hurt a little bit. Fine. Okay, so that's why this is supposedly waterproof, because it's really, really difficult to kind of get this cover off. So this is the cover that says, okay, if you want to charge it or insert your USB cable, or insert your micro SD memory card, that's what you gotta do. So once we've taken this off, we just gotta look at the little diagram. Here's our memory card again. Separate purchase. You will need to separately purchase a micro SD memory card. I cannot emphasize that enough. This camera does not include a memory card. I already had this beforehand, so we're gonna go here. We're gonna insert another object just to insert the memory card. Okay, now listen to the clicking sound. Did I break something? Let's hope not. Ugh. Okay, let's try that again. Okay, click. Take it out. Okay. Memory card is here. Now we're going to format the memory card because it was previously used in a different camera, so we're going to go back to power button. The power button, I'll show you how to do that quickly. So if you've used the memory card in a different camera or different device, phone, a tablet, and you're going to use it now in this camera, let's say you want to go to settings and format your memory card and just click yes. It'll erase the memory. Anything else, the memory card should be good to go. So that's what we did, right? Yeah. Okay. So now we're ready to use the camera. We're going to show you some. Oh, sorry. There, perfect. Here's our camera. We have 1080p 60 frames per second as our resolution. We have a memory card. We're recording with audio. We have charged the battery, so we are ready to begin the video tests. Feel free to decide for yourself if you think the video quality looks good. This is really about you. It's not about me. We're just here to test this camera. 1080p resolution, 60 frames per second video settings. Video tests will follow. Thanks for watching this video. Have a nice day. This is the VIRAN action camera. Looks very rugged, looks very solid, but of course we want to know, does this camera record good video? And we're going to find out shortly. Video tests will follow. Hello, this is a 1080p video test, 60 frames per second with the VIRAN action camera. Hello, this is a 1080p video test, 60 frames per second with the VIRAN action camera. Hello, this is a 1080p video test, 60 frames per second with the VIRAN action camera. Hello, this is a 1080p video test at 60 frames per second with the VIRAN action camera. Hello, this is a 1080p video test at 60 frames per second with the VIRAN action camera. Hello, this is a 1080p video test at 60 frames per second with the VIRAN action camera. Hello, this is a 1080p video test at 60 frames per second with the VIRAN action camera. (1080p video test, 60 frames per second with the VIRAN action camera. Sunday afternoon, summer 2023 video test on this very nice day. (1080p video test, 60 frames per second with the VIRAN action camera. (1080p video test, 60 frames per second with the VIRAN action camera. (1080p video test. Hello, this is a 1080p video test. 60 frames per second with the VIRAN action camera. Hello, this is a 1080p video test, 60 frames per second with the VIRAN action camera. Hello, this is a 1080p video test, 60 frames per second with the VIRAN action camera. Hello, this is a 1080p video test, 60 frames per second with the VIRAN action camera. Hello, this is a 1080p video test, 60 frames per second with the VIRAN action camera. Hello, this is a 1080p video test of 60 frames per second with the VIRAN action camera. Hello, this is a 1080p video test, 60 frames per second with the VIRAN action camera. This is the camera we are recording with, in case you're wondering. Here it is. 1080p video test, 60 frames per second. Sunday afternoon, summer of 2023. .1080p video at 60 frames per second. .1080p video test, 60 frames per second. The VIRAN action camera. Hello, this is a 1080p video test, 60 frames per second with the VIRAN action camera. 1080p video test. 60 frames per second. VIRAN action camera. .1080p video test. .60 frames per second. The VIRAN action camera. .1080p video test. 60 frames per second with the VIRAN action camera. Hello, this is a 1080p video test. 60 frames per second with the VIRAN action camera. 1080p video test. 60 frames per second. This is what we're recording with, in case you're wondering. This is the camera. And pause there if you'd like. 1080p video test. Sunday afternoon, summer of 2023. Purchased on Amazon. 1080p video test, 60 frames per second. .1080p video test. 60 frames per second. .1080p video test. 60 frames per second. VIRAN action camera.